What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the vlog. It is July 1st right now, and I'm currently in the Los Angeles traffic headed over to the Lucky Lady Casino. Going to be playing in my friend Psycho's private 5-5 game. It's an $800 buy-in. Should be a lot of fun and a lot of action. It's a streamed game, so people tend to play a bit wider and give a lot of action. So looking forward to that. Going to make sure I try to play as disciplined as I can and make the correct decisions, but also try to give action when I can, especially if I'm up, because it is a private game and I like to be invited to these. So, and a lot of these people are my friends too, so it's fun to give action there, but I still got to play discipline and make sure I'm playing smart. But anyway, that's where I'm headed right now. Hoping July starts off strong. I'm going to be moving to a new apartment soon this week, so it's going to be a bit busy these next couple of weeks. Want to get in a session when I can and get as much footage as I can to edit. So appreciate you guys for checking it out, and hope we do well. In one of the first hands of the session, we looked down at Ace-10 offsuit. I'm in the big blind, and I bought in for $800, which is the maximum. Middle position opens to 15, and the cutoff and button both call. We're still waiting for some more people to show up, so right now we're only playing 5 or 6-handed, and I'm going to play a bit wider than usual, especially here in the big blind. With this action, I want to raise it up and hopefully get some folds with the money in the middle. So I put in the raise to $75. Two of my opponents are relatively short stacked here, while the button has a larger stack, so I want to be cautious around him. But the middle position ends up putting it all in for 145, and the cutoff calls 80 all in. So I make the call for 145 total. It's not much more than I already put in, and I think with Ace-10 off in a game like this, short-handed with a lot of action, I have a decent chance to have the best hand pre-flop here. I made a, I guess, risky play here in the big blind with raising to 75, and unfortunately for only about $75 more, I feel like I can't really fold with how much money's already in the middle, so that's how I kind of got in this position here. But ultimately, I think we have a decent shot at winning this pot, and I believe we run it once here since it's a kind of a small pot. Flop comes out Jack Ace-6. I think we have a decent shot at winning this if we're against some lower pairs. 5 of diamonds on the river, and middle position shows Ace-Jack, so he was ahead the whole way. With the ace on the flop, I thought we had a pretty good shot at winning this pot. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way though. And our buddy Cody Epic over there scoops a nice sized pot to start the session. Quite some time goes by and we pick up Ace-10 offsuit in the big blind. I have about $700 behind, and I crawled my way back a bit from that first hand. That didn't go too well. So button raises to $15 here, small blind calls. I put in the call as well. With a hand like Ace-10 off in the big blind, I think there is a case to be made to either raise or fold, but this time I decide to just call, which I don't think is the best decision. Flop comes out great for us with 3 spades. It goes check check and the button bets $25, small blind calls. I end up putting in the call here for $25. I think there is a good amount of equity for us on a flop like that with the nut flush draw, so a case could be made to raise, but this time we decide to just put in the call. Goes check check on the turn with a 5 of hearts. Don't think that improves either of my opponents. Definitely doesn't improve my hand. The button fires off a bet for $75 here, and the small blind calls. I think I overplay my hand a bit here, but my thought process is I have some outs if my opponent has Queen X or even a set, even 2 pair. I think most likely Queen X is what the button has, or the small blind, just based off how they played it, or maybe a low flush on the flop, maybe a flush draw. But I do have the ace of spades, which is a very significant card in this position, considering I'm blocking the nut flush, and I could also have the nut flush at this point since I'm holding it. I end up going for a jam here with a massive overbet of $500. I do think that is a bit too much for this play. Like I said, my thought process is I probably have a few outs. Hopefully maybe an ace isn't out in this spot if I'm against Queen X. But ultimately the goal of my jam here was to get my opponents to fold out with a massive overbet. I do think a Queen X would have a hard time calling here. Unfortunately, the button does put in the call, so it looks like we need a lot of help on this river, considering all we have right now is ace high. Small blind ends up folding, so it's heads up now going to a river. We're both all in already. Pot's about $1,200, and we need some help. First run out comes out with a 10 of clubs, and the second one comes with the queen of clubs. So not the help we needed, and the button shows us queen 8. He made 2 pair on one board and a boat on another, so he was ahead of us the whole way. I do think I might have overbet a bit there on the turn to try to get some folds, but it was an expensive lesson. I'll have to play a bit safer going forward and not overplay my draw so much. Quite some time goes by. I'm a bit card dead. I have about 1150 behind. I bought in a bit more, and the pot's $30 now when I open a 20 with pocket kings. Under the gun +1 calls the $20 raise, and middle position does as well. We have pocket kings here. I'm really hoping someone raises and I have a chance to raise again. I don't want to go 3 or 4 ways to a flop. Would be a really bad situation for kings. Big blind just calls, so unfortunately it looks like we're going 4 ways to a flop with pocket kings. Really hoping we fade an ace here or a bunch of low cards, and luckily for us, it comes out king, king, 7. We flop quads. Don't remember the last time I've done that, if I've ever really done that. And even better, the big blind donks into us for $45. What is going on? I flop the nuts. I definitely don't want to scare my opponents off here, so I just call the 45, hoping that I can keep both other players in this pot. I don't have a lot of experience with flopping quads. I definitely don't have a lot of experience with even getting quads, so I'm not really sure how to play this appropriately to make as much money as I can. This is definitely a rare occasion for me, so thankfully the middle position calls the 45. Seems like I'm playing it okay up to this point, keeping my opponents in, but I think we need to start getting some money in this pot considering we have a very, very strong hand. The middle position player folds, so we're 3 ways going to a turn now. I'm really hoping a card comes out that could improve my opponents, like an ace, queen, maybe even a jack. 10 of spades comes out. Definitely think that's a good card. Maybe some straight draws might want to continue. The backdoor spade draw comes in, hopefully, and it goes check, check, check. I think I missed an opportunity to bet. I was really hoping that one of my opponents would bet there. Unfortunately, I ended up just checking, hopefully letting them catch up, but 10 of hearts on the river is definitely an interesting card. I really hope someone has a 10 in this spot, but obviously it's going to be hard to make some money here, I think, for me. I probably misplayed this majorly by not betting on the turn and charging maybe backdoor spades or some straight draws, but I'm going to make the most out of what I can here. I bet $75 when it checks to me. Under the gun +1 player folds. I think I bet enough where the big blind is enticed enough to call with a hand like ace high, or maybe even try to bluff on this board. You know, I don't know if they want to rep the king in this spot, considering the pre-flop action. It's highly unlikely that it's in their range. It's very likely that I have a king, so I doubt a bluff will happen, but I'm really hoping that at least a call or something. Just want to make sure I make some money from these quads here. I don't get them often, but unfortunately, she does end up folding. We show the quads, though. I'm still happy. I made a little bit of profit. Casino paid me like $100 for the high hand, so that was cool. We're on to the next one. I'll learn from that one and hopefully make a bit more money next time I get quads. A little hard on the flop, though, to do that. But some time goes by. We pick up pocket jacks, have about $1,300 behind. Under the gun opens to $20. Keep in mind that I'm down about $500. A lot of my stack is my rebuy, but that king's hand did help us get a bit of a healthier stack. So hopefully that continues to trend upward. Cutoff calls for 20, the button calls again, and I want to bump this up in the small blind with pocket jacks. I raise it to 120. Most players end up folding. The button's a bit of a wild player. She has a very wide range, so she puts in the call here for 120, going to a flop, hoping I hit something in my range, and we do with the king of diamonds, but with 2 diamonds out there, I end up just doing a little bit of pot control here and checking it over. The 8 and the 5 definitely hits her range. She could have 8s or 5s a lot of the time, so I end up just being a bit passive and checking, but the turn comes out jack of spades, really regretting not betting a typical C bet there on the flop, which I think I should have. Making a lot of mistakes this session, but it is what it is. I also make a very small bet here on the turn, hoping to induce a bluff. She ends up calling the 75. Just not happy with how I play this hand at all. 8 of spades comes out on the river. We have a boat, definitely have the best hand. I end up firing off a bet of only $200 on the river, which I do think is a bit low. I wish I stuck to the fundamentals on this hand and practiced what I've been learning online and also studying. I think I was trying to play the player too much here. She tends to play a bit loose and make a lot of raises and bluffs. So I was hoping to induce something like that. She ends up calling the 200, and I show the bad news that I have a full house. She shows a king, which is what I was targeting. I wish I bet a bit more on the river. I wish I bet more on the turn. I wish I just played that hand completely differently, but no time to think about that. We're on to the next hand here with pocket sevens. I opened a $15 and UTG1 calls. I think I'm down about $100 now. I made a bit of a comeback. Obviously, I am still regretting that ace of spades bluff I made on the turn. But I gotta lock in and just focus on the hands I'm currently in instead of thinking about the past, which is something I try to get better at doing. Still a bit tough though. Middle position calls, and the cutoff looks to be going for a squeeze play. She raises it up to $90. Pot's about $145 now. I think with pocket sevens, most of the time to this kind of line, I want to be folding. Could definitely be up against a better pair or flipping with a hand like ace king, ace queen, maybe even ace jack. But I decide to be a bit bold here, and we're both playing quite deep, so I think maybe a raise here will hopefully get her to fold unless she has a very strong hand. I raised it up to 300, hoping to target hands like ace queen, ace jack, and something that might be going for a squeeze like maybe jacks or tens. Middle position folds, and the cutoff tanks for quite a bit of time. Looks like she wants to either raise or fold. I don't think she's going to just call in this spot here. She does have position, so a call wouldn't be unreasonable, but she ends up going all in for 1,500, which is a massive, massive bet. With pocket sevens, I mean, I don't even know why I take so much time to think here. I think I just feel sunk cost with the 300 I already put in, but there's just no way I can call this bet. I made a mistake already raising to the 300, try to make a play. A lot of the plays I've been trying to make today have just not been going my way, so I end up just letting this one go. I figured the best case scenario there was I'm flipping with like ace king or ace queen, and she does actually show ace queen off, which I think is a very crazy play. I mean, it worked out for her. She totally outplayed me, and I lost $300, so well played to her. But we're on to the next hand here. About an hour later, under the gun opens to 15, middle position calls. I look down at pocket aces, have about 1450 behind. I raise this up to 45, which was a bit small looking back at it. Cutoff puts in the call. Surely the entire table won't call my raise. I'm hoping with aces, I definitely want to go either 3 ways or 2 ways. Do not want to go more than 2 or 3 players here. I want to just get as much money in the middle as I can pre-flop, heads up, hopefully, but doesn't look that way because the button also puts in the call. So I'm just praying somebody raises. I probably should have bumped it up a bit more considering how much action is in this game. I think a $45 raise in this spot, a lot of people are going to be calling. So ultimately it is my fault. In a game like this, I should have identified that the 45 will be this too little. So small blind calls, big blind calls. Someone saved me, and luckily the action player at the table raises to 165. I feel like this is the best case scenario to have aces. There's so much money in the middle already. Someone raises again. It's on to me now, and I raise it up to 445. Since we are playing pretty deep, I don't want to jam and scare off some of the bigger stacks. I'm hoping to induce a jam from someone else, hopefully, with maybe kings, ace king, maybe even queens. This is definitely the table to make a play like that. There's a lot of action, and people are playing very wide. So really hoping this gets someone to make a wild decision. But it does look like the 445 is a bit too much for everyone else. I do think the sizing is appropriate given the raise and the amount of money in the table. Could maybe even make a case to put more in the middle. So if I scare people off with this, that's kind of the intention. I don't want too many callers, and I'd like to go 2 or 3 ways with the aces. Most players end up folding. Only the big blind and the 165 raiser under the gun is left to act. Wouldn't be surprised if this goes heads up, but I'm pretty surprised actually when the big blind ends up just calling with his 375 left behind. What is going on? I'm surprised that guy didn't raise if he has a super strong hand. Under the gun calls as well, which is about 445 all in. So here we are, 3 ways going to a flop. We're going to run it twice. We have aces. We can win a lot of money here and hopefully be positive on the session after this. The under the gun player shows ace jack, so we are dominating them. First flop comes out 3-3-9, 8 of clubs on the turn, king of clubs on the river. Don't know what the small blind player has. Second flop comes out 2-5-2, 4 of hearts on the turn, 7 of spades on the river. Hopefully we fade the spades. But this time it went our way, 3 ways, running it twice. We end up scooping a massive pot close to $1,000, which brings us up on the session and a huge comeback. All right, everyone, and that wraps up my 5-5 session at the Lucky Lady on July 1st. It's actually the end of the month now in July, and I wanted to give a quick update. I'm in my new apartment, so that's pretty cool. I've been super busy with work. I've been taking a little bit of a break from poker because I was doing really bad in July. I know some people think I only post the wins, but to be honest, I only post what I get footage of. I don't get much footage. I don't have the luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose what I post because 1, I don't play that much poker, and 2, when I do play poker, I'm not always recording. So when I'm able to record and I have a decent session that's entertaining enough, I post it, whether that's a win or a loss. I don't want to paint the picture that I'm a super winning player or anything though, because in July I've actually had one of my worst losing streaks. I have lost a lot of sessions recently, and on some of those I was recording for short form content, and on some of those I wasn't recording at all. So overall, July has not been good. I'm now back to being a losing player technically overall since I started last April. So really hoping the next month is a bit better, but I've been kind of taking a step away to kind of, I guess, focus more on studying poker and just resetting my mental. So appreciate everyone for checking it out. Hopefully next month treats us better, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your July.